Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Thunder, thunder, Thundercats, ho!
Thunder! Thunder! Thundercats! Ho!
The coolest thing about Thundercats was that they took things from very different genres and put them all together. And they blended them to the show in a way that brought the best of those genres together.
There is a mixture of science fiction and fantasy. There was swords, but there were spaceships.
Even within the core team, you have quite a mix of science and sorcery. Everything seems to be completely meshed together.
The storyline, how well written it was, how every episode was completely different than the next one. Like most kids, I'd have to identify with Lion-O because the series started off with him being a child and then him growing up, earning the respect of everyone else, being the leader of the Thundercats.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight.
The Sword of Omens contains the Eye of Thundera, which is the real power of the Thundercats.
And that actually allows him to see whatever's happened with all the other Thundercats and if they're in peril or not. It is part of Thundera, and it was a guidance of good for good.
The sword will never obey an order to destroy wantonly, Lion-O.
Jaga first appears in the show as the old, wise Thundercat, and he perished while piloting the Thundercat ship to Third Earth. It was a key part of the series, and whenever he appeared, you listened in and hear what advice he had to say to Lion-O.
Jaga did resonate with me. I would love to have someone like him as a mentor.
I was a big fan of Tigra because he was older and he was more mature. There were so many times, man, where Lion-O had gone and gotten himself into trouble because he was trying to rescue Snarf. Then, like, right when you think Lion-O is just doomed, you would see that bolo come flying through the air, you know? And then you'd hear, and it would just grab whoever was about to take him out.
We're gonna loosen your bones for you, too.
There was a ninja phenomenon that swept across this country like a prairie brush fire. And Panthro was one of the only cartoon characters who had nunchucks.
Nunchucks, ninjas, kung fu, just go for it.
His little martial arts grunts and stuff like that, it just made it more real.
I cannot even tell you how many times I tried to convince my mom to let me cut up a broomstick and tape some rope to it so that I could have nunchucks.
Oh yeah, I'm cool.
Chitara was a strong female character of the series, and actually the only female character in the beginning.
Chitara's power is speed, and her speed has come in handy in several instances.
Every young boy who watched Thundercats probably had a little bit of a thing for Chitara. She was hot, man. They drew her with, like, muscle lines on her stomach and stuff. And I was like, I could never have a woman like that who's really a cheetah and lives on Third Earth.
Snarf. Never had any use for courage myself.
I actually did like Snarf. I don't remember any of my friends who did not like Snarf. Though he may have been annoying at times.
Snarf, Snarf, Snarf. Oh, it just drove me nuts.
I have to admit that one of my favorites on the entire show was Snarf. I've always had a taste for the underdog character in the cartoons.
I always see him as the comedy relief. He has this comedian feel to him.
More Chitara, less Snarf. Thank you, signed Will Wheaton, age 13.
Follow me if you can, Wily Cat.
Well, with Wily Kit and Wily Cat, their powers really were just their cunning.
Kit, I see as stronger than her brother. She's a lot more adventurous. Wily Cat will do things to prove that he's just as good as his sister. They reminded me, like, of the neighborhood kids.
And wherever evil exists,
Mum-Ra was legitimately scary. It's really rare that there are scary villains in kids shows. I don't know why the glowing eyes always scared me so much when I was a kid, but really, it really frightened me.
Definitely, for the first episode on, you just knew this was an evil character, as in could actually cause real harm, destruction.
Every time they beat Mum-Ra, Mum-Ra just goes back to the tomb, charges up, he doesn't care. He's like, I'll be back in 1,000 years.
Comic relief, if there was to be any, would be the mutants themselves and how they kept getting defeated and how they talked. Thundercats everywhere! The mutants came from the planet Plundar and attacked the original Thundercat ship as they were traveling away from Thundera. Also got stranded on Third Earth. And there was Monkey and Jackal Man, Vulture Man, and Slythe, the leader.
I still can't pronounce his name. Slaith, Snaith, The animation really, really holds up. And there are things in Thundercats that I now see all the time in anime, where they are using foreground cells where things are clearly out of focus to give a real sense of depth to the show. The character models are kind of constantly moving.
If you just look at any other animation, you'd be like, it's obvious, Thundercats. This is probably one of the best written as well as the best animated shows of all of them.
Thundercats is a mythological, very well thought out, very well animated, very well acted cartoon series. And it is not surprising to me at all that Thundercats was able to successfully endure for 10 years without any new content. Good quality entertainment tends to do that. Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose.
Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats!
Thunder, thunder.